touch on the bump for 80.
Welcome to Special Stage and welcome to round 4 of the 2016 Ravenel BTRDA Rally Championship. Almost at the halfway point in the season, consistency is what's telling the stories on that leaderboard. Charlie Payne and Carl Williamson out there in front because of their results and most importantly because of their finishes so far this year. Luke Francis comes here after 2 victories out of 3 rounds so far with, if nothing else, high confidence. We've got the weather and we've got some stunning, iconic stages on the 50th anniversary of this brilliant, brilliant event. Join us now on the stages for all the action from the BTRDA. On to the stages then, and it will be the lead for championship newcomer Julian Reynolds with Patrick Walsh alongside. They take an 11-second advantage at the midway point of the rally. How's the pace?
Good, yeah, I'm really pleased. I'm learning the car and first time I've driven in the dry, so it's really good experience for me today.
A wrong tyre choice for Luke Francis and John Roberts mean that they felt a little off the pace, but nothing that was affecting the times too much. They still lie in second place at this stage and with a 17-second advantage in that position themselves. Luke, consistency this season so far is the only thing that's hampering you. 2 victories so far. Confidence high?
Yeah, we're doing well. Yeah, had a bit of a wrong tyre choice this morning, but the times are still good. So yeah, we're having a really good day so far.
For Charlie Payne and Carl Williamson, it will be 3rd. Confidence to push through the dust was a bit of an issue. They were able to keep that podium place, but unable to catch those ahead just yet. Charlie, you come here leading the championship. You happy?
We're just losing a little bit to Luke. He's going very well. I don't know, I've just not settled into it. I don't know why, a little bit of dust. I'm just not settled down today.
And Stephen Petch and Michael Wilkinson come here looking for a finish after a bad start of their season. And maybe that was the right approach. They end the morning with 4th place, just 12 seconds behind Payne. Stephen, is this the day you finally get completely to grips with this car and nail it?
Well, I'd just like to get to the finish, to be honest. I've had a nightmare start of the season. So, yeah, I'm just steady away, just trying to get to the end and have no problems, you know. But stages are good, so I'm enjoying it. That's the main thing.
Things were going well, meanwhile, for Steve Simpson and Mark Glenister. Happy with the car and the stages, making one of their best starts this season as they reach service with 5th place overall at this stage. Steve, you getting what you want from the car out there?
Yeah, we are at the minute. It's good stages this morning. We got stuck a bit of dust, but I suspect everybody's had the same, really. So, but yeah, fair enough. It's good enough for at the minute.
It will be a great run too for Andy Davies and Max Freeman in the morning stages. They have no problems to report and lie in 6th place overall. And of course, they lead the way in that Group N battle. Confidence will be the issue for David Wright and Steve Pugh. David used to the tighter stages in the north of the UK, these ones being wider and allowing for a bigger push. For now though, it wouldn't come, it would be 7th place. It hadn't been the best of mornings for Carl and Guy Simmons either. Caught napping a little on stage 1 and a mix-up with the start on stage 3 would see them not quite where they wanted to be in the leaderboard, but things were still going okay, it had to be said, with 8th place. Everything going to plan for Wayne Sisson and Neil Shanks, meanwhile, settling in after not being in the car since round 2. They lie in 9th place now, 2nd in the B13 class. And rounding out the top 10 were Sasha Kakad and James Aldridge. 2nd place in the Group N fight. Things were going well for the pair, settling into a good rhythm. Outside of the top 10 then, and it will be 3rd in the B13 class for Dylan Davies and Cleon Williams. The car not always pointing in the right direction, but they reach service in one piece, and that's the main thing. And for Russ Thompson and Andy Murphy, it will be 13th overall, 3rd in the Group N fight. Sadly not at the front of the battle like they would have wanted to be at this stage in the rally. Sadly, the Silver Star would lose Ian Rowlands and Emir Hall early on, from the lead no less, as they retired in stage 3 with sheared wheel nuts. So that meant at service, it would be the lead for Boyd Kershaw and Brian Hull. Problems with the tyres wearing out in the morning would mean a better choice in the afternoon onto the harder tyres, but they weren't the only ones to be suffering with the heat. Boy, a bit of a fight going on between you and John out there. I understand that there's some tyre conversations happening as well. You're on the same tyres now.
Yeah, we're all on hards. It's pretty hard out there, so makes after the last 3, our tyres were absolutely shredded. So we've got an extra stage to do, so it makes sense. Go hard, yeah.
John Rowlands and Glenn Latham seem to not suffer as much with their tyre choice. They do find the stages slippery, but with the line being cleared for the repeat of the stages, things should be a lot better in the afternoon. John, how's this morning gone?
Yeah, it's been going well. Been pushing hard, to be honest, all morning. It's been really a bit of dust, but it's nice to have a dry rally in for a change. So yeah, it's really pushing hard. Past my brother on the 3rd stage. He stopped on the side of the road. He sheared the back wheel, the wheel nuts sheared on him. But yeah, I'm pushing hard.
Phil Burton and Mal Capstick, meanwhile, wouldn't have a good feeling in the car on the opening stage. But things would go much better in the following 2. They lie in 3rd place at the moment, leading the way in the B12 class. Phil, happy? Fast?
Yeah, we're happy. We're fast. We were a bit concerned in stage 1. Things just weren't as we thought they would be with the car, but we're going to stage 2 and everything seemed to rectify itself. So
Mechanically or setup?
just felt lethargic, as though we had no power. They just didn't want to go, and the time showed we were slow. And then we got into 2 and 3, and we're all about the same. So
It's the weather. Our producer's the same.
yeah, well, and maybe early in the morning as well. But apart from that, yes, good day.
And just outside the podium places were Gavin Edwards and Karen Tomlinson, 3rd in the B11 class for now, not feeling that things were 100% with the car, but not sure what the problem might be. Jody Bocott and David Millard will be another crew confessing to being off the pace. Happy to be fighting for those places outside the podium, though, for now, in 5th. And Cameron Davies and Lee Taylor make a great start in the Fiestas. Leading the way there, the Fiesta ST Trophy crews only allowed 6 pre-chosen tyres per round. And a brave or well-calculated choice of medium compound tyres will be a clear advantage today. Mark Holmes and Craig Simkis would be the leading historic crew, enjoying the stages, but one of a few to choose too soft a tyre on the morning loop. George Lepley and Alwell Jenkins were having a few small problems, the rear hub being loose and causing the brakes to stick on. But for now, it will be 8th place, 2nd in that N3 class. The fight would be on, though, with Tim Kievan Rogers and Abby Haycock taking up 3rd place in the class. 9th overall as well, just a single second between themselves and Lepley at this stage. And rounding out our top 10 were Andy Davison and Tom Murphy. Certainly their best start of the season, lying 10th overall for now and 5th in the B11 class. In some of the class places outside the top 10, it will be 2nd in the B12 class for Ashley Davies and Sam Forden. Tyres were the problem, just like was the story for many others. It was a steady morning for Alan McDowell and Gavin Heseltine, seeing them lie 2nd in the H3 class at this stage in the Escort. Nothing to change for the afternoon, just the same as they were would be nice. And in 6th place overall was Simon Smith and Andrew Greener. They reached the end of this loop with 3rd in the B12 class. Bob Vardy and Simon Rogers make a good start to the day with the early lead in that B10 class, lying in 17th overall. And Robin Shuttleworth and Ronnie Roughhead would be the only crew in the H1 class. They do, though, lie just 2 seconds back from Vardy overall on the results. Surely that is where their fight would be today. And rounding out the top of the H3 class are Jeremy Wells and Martin Saunders, 3rd in the class and 20th overall at this stage. For Tony Cawthorne and Robert Smith, it would be 2nd place in the B10 class. Sadly, a little way off the class leaders at this midway point. In the 1400s, we'd see Jordan and Paul Hone take the early advantage. A small but welcomed 11-second lead at this stage. Jordan, you happy with progress this morning?
Yeah, good progress this morning. Good 3 stages. We're a bit of overheating problems. The first couple of, and but no, looking forward to these next 3 now and get around.
Things were going well for James Williams and Paul Wakely. They settle into a good pace to lie in 2nd, ready for a push in the afternoon. James, good fighting class.
Yeah, it's been a good fight so far. I'm really enjoying it. We had a good first stage, which set us up for the day, and just tidy runs through 2 and 3, and hopefully we can carry on that sort of pace through the rest of the day.
Chris Powell and Jim Lewis will be thankful just to reach this point of the event. A disastrous start to the season seems to be behind them now in the Sunbeam. They lie in 3rd place. Chris, you made it here.
Yeah, over the moon. Yeah. What's this, 4th event of the year, and we've finally made lunch. Happy as Larry. Doesn't matter what happens the rest of the day now.
No.
We've
What
made
is going to happen next to that?
Well, we're only 14 seconds off the lead of the class, so we're going to have a little squeeze on, so we go. Not try too hard, because we don't want to make another mistake, but, see if we can put a bit of pressure on, And
if that happens, he's ready. Keith and Mari Riddick, meanwhile, make a great start, returning to the event that they started with 2 years ago. Sadly, that would all come to an end, though, at the start of the very next stage when they break a drive shaft off the start line. So 5th in the 1400s and set to gain a place in the next few stages were Wayne and Hugh Lewis, going well so far for the Nova pair. And sadly, the overall victory wasn't looking likely for Freddie and Toby Brick this time, but they do lead the way in the 1400 C class at this stage. And sadly, we lose Matt Jackson and Claire Williams from the fight this morning after the power steering gave up. Discretion, the better part of honour today, saving the engine. They had been lying in 6th place at the time. Rally First would see a different name at the top here at round 4. Emily and Elliot Rietelich take the top spot this morning with a 13-second advantage in that position. For Richard Wells and Calvin Holdsworth, it will be 2nd place for now. The pair do lead the way in the 1.6 class in the polo. And rounding out the podium places at this stage were Dominic Hodge and Stefan Arndt. 3rd place overall and 2nd in the 1.4 class. A little further back and leading the way in the 1 litre class were Thomas Bayliss and Joe Jones. They lie in 6th place overall at this stage. So at the end of the morning stages, there are some new names and faces at the top of the various categories. But with half of the events still remaining, it was all to play for. On to the afternoon stages, and not much would change in Rally First. Certainly not for Thomas Bayliss and Joe Jones, who remained the class winners in the 1 litre class. There would be change in 3rd, though, as Richard Wells and Calvin Holdsworth unfortunately drop a place through the afternoon stages to take that position. It will be close, though, with Dominic Hodge and Stefan Arndt gaining that place to take 2nd at the end of the rally by just a single second. But with an impressive and reasonably safe 23-second lead by the end of the rally, it will be victory number 1 for Emily and Elliot Rietelich. Their first victory, surely not the last. On to the 1400s, and there will be plenty of change as we lose Freddie and Toby Brick from the results in stage 5. This would mean the 1400 C victory for Neil Andrew and Dom Adams, getting themselves up the results enough to take 5th place too. With a better afternoon, it will be a good move up the results for Scott and David Sloan in this afternoon loop. They managed to net themselves 4th place overall. Sloan would actually finish on an identical time to Wayne and Hugh Lewis, the pair having a good run to end the rally with the final step on the podium, beating Sloan to the position on earlier times. Not only had Chris Powell and Jim Lewis made it halfway through the rally, they also made it to the finish. A result in itself, but the 2nd place would be even more of a reward for a good day on the stages. Unfortunately for the early leaders, Jordan and Paul Hone, things would come to an end soon in the afternoon. They stop on stage 4 in the Proton. That does mean the victory this weekend would go to James Williams and Paul Wakely, happy to take their first 1400 victory and take that confidence and momentum into the 2nd half of the season. So just before we chat to our 1400 winners, here's a look at how the final 1400 and Rally First results were decided. James, Paul, What a result, James. You've been pushing hard for this.
Oh, absolutely. We've worked so hard for this result. It's been such a long journey. I've learned a lot over the past year, and finally it's come. I'm really, really ecstatic about it. Yeah, it's a fantastic result.
Paul, perhaps sat alongside another star of the future here today. You're no stranger to that.
No, you never know. There's plenty of good talent in Wales, and as it is in the rest of the country. But the thing to do, I think, is to try and find some backing for these, for the younger generation coming through as much as possible, and try and bring them on. And the future looks good. Looks very good.
On to the Silver Star then, and there will be no change to second in the B10 class. Tony Cawthorne and Robert Smith taking that position at the finish. The H3 class would remain the same too, with Jeremy Wells and Martin Saunders ending the rally with third in the class this weekend. It's a H1 class victory for Robin Shuttleworth and Ronnie Ruffhead. They end the event with that position and 17th overall on the leaderboard. Just above them on the results were Simon Smith and Andrew Greener. They take 16th overall, second place in the B12 class. And Bob Vardy and Simon Rogers reached the end of the rally with the B10 class win and end their day with 15th on the overall leaderboard too. Not as high up the results as Alan McDowell and Gavin Heseltine would have wanted to be, but their class place was safe. Second in the H3 class by the finish. And there's change in the class for Ashley Davies and Sam Fordham. They gain a place in the afternoon stages to take the B12 class lead by the finish. The reason for that change will be the loss of previous B12 class leaders Phil Burton and Mal Capstick, crashing out on stage 5, unable to continue. So that off for Burton and Capstick would mean a few changes in our top 10. But for Andy Davison and Tom Murphy, it would be that 10th place finish, their best result in the season so far. There wouldn't be any change though for Tim Kevin Rogers and Abby Haycock. They take third in the N3 class and of course the Fiesta ST trophy, backing off a little in the final stages to preserve the tyres. Gareth Edwards and Dylan Andrew make it back up the results in the afternoon stages after an alternator belt broke in the morning, causing a bit of a worry. They complete half of the afternoon on ball tyres, but they do get themselves an 8th place finish. George Lepley and Arwell Jenkins put in some good times in the afternoon to take 7th place in the Silver Star and 2nd in the Fiesta STs. George's first time out on dry gravel, bizarrely, and surprisingly, it wasn't as easy as expected. A good result this weekend for Mark Holmes and Craig Simkis as they take the H3 class victory by a good margin and 6th place overall. And it would also be a good result too for Jody Bocott and David Millard. They reached the end of the rally with 5th place, just missing out on a podium in the B11 class. Once again, Cameron Davies and Lee Taylor showed dominance in the Fiesta Trophy. They take victory there, but also 4th overall. Some adventurous driving in the final stages, certainly contributing towards the good stage times today. There would be nothing Gavin Edwards and Karen Tomlinson could do to catch the leaders though. They settle for 3rd place this weekend after a day they didn't feel had been their best. The final step on the podium though says otherwise. For John Rowlands and Glenn Latham then, it would be 2nd. They pushed all afternoon so hard but were unable to take the win. They miss out by just 3 seconds at the end of the event. Testament to their efforts and to how close a Silver Star is this season. But that does mean it's victory and well-deserved too for Boyd Kershaw and Brian Hull. They take the win this weekend and the B11 class victory by a very slim 3 seconds. Before we chat to Boyd, here's a reminder of the final results in the Silver Star category. Boyd, Brian, it certainly didn't take you long to get into the full swing of things with this new car.
Yeah, I love it. It's the first event with it where it's been dry for us, so I think we can really see what it can do and get a bit more confidence with the tyres. And yeah, that's great. Absolutely love it.
Brian, great day in the Welsh Forest for you, both for the championship and for another reason as well, sporting your colours.
Yeah, no, it's been a brilliant day. Great forests, really good condition tracks as well. So we're very happy with that. You know, we've had our problems during the day, but we've scraped through the win. So loved it. Want to come back to Wales for more.
As do we all. Rally for Wales. If you are on Twitter, then follow Rally for Wales and get involved in the campaign. Well done. Great result for you guys in the Silver Star. It's looking good halfway through the championship.
yeah, can't wait for the second half.
It wouldn't be the best of weekends for Russ Thompson and Andy Murphy. Off the pace compared to usual, they end the day outside the top 10, but they do take third place in the Group N points. For Sasha Kakad and James Aldridge, it will be second in the Group N. They end the day just outside the top 10 overall with 11th place. And Dylan Davies and Cleon Williams managed to claw back some time this afternoon to round out the top 10 at the finish of the rally and take third in the B13 class in the process. Second in that class, and on identical times to Davies, were Wayne Sisson and Neil Shanks. They take the place on earlier times in the day and take those second in class points here at round 4. Rory Young and Di Roberts had joined the championship this weekend, Rory's first event in Wales. Let's just hope he doesn't get used to the dry conditions. They take 8th place on the plains. After a frustrating start to the rally, it will be 7th place by the finish for Carl and Guy Simmons. Not the result they would have wanted, but a good finish still. It was a great weekend for Andy Davies and Max Freeman, and it sees them taking their first Group N win in the championship, ending the rally with 6th place overall too. And getting used to the car was clear to see for Steve Simpson and Mark Glenister as they put in a great performance to take 5th place here at round 4. Surely a title fight within reach for these guys in the not so distant future. Just a handful of seconds separating the places ahead of them today too. In fact, 5 seconds ahead of Simpson would be Charlie Payne and Carl Williamson. Unable to hold off the fight to gain any more time, they are forced to finish with 4th place, although still a good set of points from round 4. And finally, things seem to be going right for Stephen Petch and Michael Wilkinson. They end the rally with the final step on the podium after a push in the final stage of the rally. Unfortunately for Luke Francis and John Roberts, there would be no answer to today's leaders. They take 2nd place this weekend and will be happy with the points haul that finish brings. But for this weekend, it would be victory for Julian Reynolds and Patrick Walsh. A great performance all day to take victory by just less than a minute by the finish of the rally. Before we chat to our winners here today, here's a reminder of the final overall results at round 4 of the Ravenel BTRDA Rally Championship. Julian, Patrick, a one-off outing perhaps for you, Julian, but a fantastic one at that.
Yeah, happy enough. We've come here and planning to be out next year in BTRDA, so we thought we'd better do a couple of rallies just to get used to driving again. So very happy with the result today, really good.
If you want to hit the ground running, you need a man like this beside you. Of course, Patrick, no stranger to these stages, and there are quite a few crews in the BTRDA now, top seats that have had you in them. What are you going to be doing next time?
I have no idea. I'm not really sure what's next. Is it Carlisle next? I think I'll be back to old trusty faithful Simmer on that one. I think we've had a good result last time, so yeah, back in with Simmer for that one. But
good ride alongside Julian today.
I really can't complain, can I? He's, for an old guy, has sat in the car for a while, he's done fairly well. So yeah, and credit to him, or thanks to him for allowing me to sit alongside him on some great stages.
Yeah. Well, great results today. As always, good to see Patrick fighting at the top, but good to have you in here as well.
Thank you very much. Yeah, really enjoyed.
Luke Francis continues his good form. A one-off outing from Julian Reynolds doesn't change the championship, but that man on the podium, Stephen Petch, in that WD-40 Fiesta, just might. Join us next time as the fight for the BTRDA title enters the second half of the season. Thank you for watching Special Stage.